locations in the game, and this is Zoe.
Нам наконец-то показывают
one of
игру.
our 3 lead characters, playable
Эту
characters.
девушку
This
зовут
is
Зои.
alpha footage, so this is
Она
not
одна из
finished,
основных
but it shows a little
характеров в
bit of
игре.
what we're doing in terms of the scope of the world, trying to create this cyberpunk, Blade Runner, neon lit
Постарались
future
создать
world
неоновый
for the science fiction
киберпанковский
part of
город.
it. And again, we can see some of the concepts here, some of the barges here, the flying ships. And the great part is we're doing this with a team of 14-15 people, and this is, you know,
Мы делаем
the
эту
future.
игру командой 14-15
Technologies
человек.
like Unity, Kickstarter money funding us, being able to
Нас
do what we love
спонсируют
and
с
doing it with a small team.
Кикстартера,
For us, that's
и
a
технология
fantastic
называется
experience.
Unity.
Yeah, we're trying to create these stories that people can immerse themselves in, and in order to do that, the story
Мы
needs to
хотели
be
бы делать
believable.
такие истории, в
In order
которые бы люди
for the
просто
story to be
втягивались,
believable, the world needs to be believable as well.
были
Even though this
увлечены
is
ими.
fiction, it needs to feel real.
Мы не
So we do
хотели
a
бы,
lot of
чтобы люди
storytelling in
чувствовали,
the
что
environments,
это
and you know, like
фикция.
any
Мы
good
хотели, чтобы они
adventure
чувствовали,
game,
как
you
будто
can
это
look
все
at a lot of
реально.
stuff, you can touch it, you can get the characters' views on it, you can talk to all the characters in the streets.
Мы хотим, чтобы вы
You can really
хотели
sort of dig
потрогать
into
все
the
вокруг,
story, and
хотели
the Europolis
поговорить с
environment that we're
характерами,
showing
которые
here
вас
is massive,
окружать будут.
and you can wonder about that for quite a while and just sort of live and experience this environment.
Tons of little things you can
Мы
touch
хотели
and
бы
pick
просто,
up and
чтобы вы
look
жили
at
в
and
этом
investigate,
мире, который мы сделаем для вас.
like in real life.
Yeah. And the
Чувствовали
game
себя
sort
как
of
в
narrows
реальной
in at
жизни.
certain points, and we'll show you a little bit of that, and it opens up at certain points to give you a lot of variety in terms of how the world works.
Мы хотим показать примеры,
The other world,
как мир
Arcadia,
работает.
is more of a sort of a
Мир
magical
называется
fantasy world.
Аркадия.
It's,
Это
I guess it's
вымышленный
very
мир,
much inspired by fairy tales. It has darkness as well. It has
придуман
warmth. It's a
благодаря
totally different
различным
feel.
сказочным историям.
We're not going to show you a lot of stuff from that today. This is a screenshot, in-game screenshot from Arcadia.
Это реальный игровой
Cool there too, and there's a
скриншот
totally
из
different vibe,
игры
more sort of,
Аркадия.
I don't know, more organic, obviously, than Europolis. More lived into in terms of sort of, you know, all the textures are worn down and all the characters have history and are aged in a way.
Yeah, every little asset has a history to it.
So we're going to show you a little bit of video footage from Arcadia. This is stuff that we
Сейчас
have
нам
released
покажут
before,
немного
but for those of you who haven't seen it, this
эпизодов
also
именно
shows
из мира
our
Аркадии.
decision point system. And decision points in the game are ways for
И
players
здесь
to shape the
тоже у нас
story.
будет
And as
система
a participant
принятия
in the story
решений.
of Dreamfall chapters, you do get to shape the story quite a bit. There are tons of these decision points, and there are tons of ways to change the way the story plays out. The choices you make in the
И
character dialogues.
ваши
As you
решения
can see
будут
here, we have a system
влиять
where you can
на
listen to the
ход
characters' inner
истории
thoughts before you make a choice.
в этой игре.
So Kian here, you hear his inner voice as he sort of debates which of these options to use. And this shapes the story. But to a much greater degree, the decision points, you know, actions that you take in the world shape the story. And we'll show you a little bit of that in a second.
And often the choices that you have aren't right or wrong. They're often in the gray area. We really want to create these sort of talking points among people, like why did you choose that and why do I choose this and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ой-ой-ой, опять у нас лаги пошли.
So this guy, this prisoner who's killed this guard, he's dying. So he wants Kian to
Это парень,
put
который
him out
убил
of his
охранника,
misery before
он
the guards find him.
умирает.
Because they
Нам
will make
нужно
him
рассказать,
suffer. They'll torture him. So you have a choice here.
что же
You can-
произошло здесь.
Do what he wants and kill him, or you can leave him. And if you leave him, you're gonna hear the consequence of that later on. And when we use the shiv on the prisoner, we'll get the decision point UI up.
Мы можем его
And
избавить
what we're doing here
от
is also
страданий,
connecting
либо просто
players.
уйти
So
дальше.
you'll be able to see what everybody else playing the game has chosen. You could choose to look at this before the decision, after the decision, or not at all. It's your
И
choice. And you can also see what your
54% тех,
friends
кто
have
проходил
chosen.
эту игру,
As you can see, that
до этого
54% of the
выбрали
world chose to mercy kill the prisoner, and 5
его
of your
помиловать и
friends.
убить, чтобы он
So
не
we're going to
мучился
go ahead
дальше.
and, follow the majority. And basically then this plays out and it has some consequence to the story going forward. You'll be able to talk to this prisoner's family afterwards and inform them about what you had to do and what happened. And the characters will react to it as well. So if we walk back to our companion here, he will in this case say, but like Martin said, there really aren't any right choices. Certain characters might feel that way, but
те выборы, которые вы принимаете, они тоже реагируют по-разному на вас в последующем.
That's really up to the player.
And as Ragnar said, it's important that Well, he said the choices that you make inform the story, and it's super important for us to show to the player that you are actually informing the story. So when you are making a choice, it might not be obvious what just happened in the game based on your choices, but you'll see it later on, and we will show you very often.
Мы хотели, чтобы игроки обязательно понимали, что те решения, которые они принимают, они не только в данный момент найдут отражение в игре, но гораздо позже, когда вы будете проходить игру, вы будете постоянно сталкиваться с тем, что решение, которое вы приняли, влияет на ее ход. Вы должны понимать, что мы первый раз за пределами офиса показываем эту игру людям. Сейчас мы покажем тех парней, которые, не покладая рук, работают над этой игрой. Возможно, они даже нас смотрят сейчас. Привет, парни. Давайте переключимся с демки.
Martin, you want to do a song and dance while I bring the demo up? Nope. No? But you dance so well.
That's for later, Ragnar. That's for later.
That's for tonight.
It sounded super erotic. I didn't mean for it to come out like that.
Yes, you did. All right, so we can bring it up now. And Martin wants to be the one playing today, so I'm going to give him the chance to grab the controller.
Ну, давайте дадим нашему парню возможность, дадим в руки ему контроллер, он покажет нам игру.
Big disclaimer, I'm not used to playing with the
joypad. He sucks at playing with the joypad, just so you know. So this is going to be a
Он отстойно играет на геймпаде, нам
говорят. We need to give him this. It's important to him. So
мы все равно дадим его ему.
You can bring down the lights a little bit more, maybe, so we can focus on this and less on us. All right.
Okay. Давай, начинай уже, играй, парниша. Покажи нам Dreamfall Chapters. Dreamfall. Игра Dreamfall Chapters называется. Этот вопрос был. Chapter 1. Adrift.
They say that every story has a beginning and an end.
Они говорили, что каждая история имеет начало и конец.
Some stories simply stop. My name is Zoe Castillo.
Меня зовут Зои Кастило, я умираю.
I've been in a coma for over a year.
Я была в коме несколько лет. Доктора не верили, что я когда-нибудь поднимусь снова.
My mother did this to me.
Это моя мать сделала со мной.
So that I wouldn't be able to tell my story.
Она поместила меня сюда, чтобы я могла рассказать вам истории.
It worked.
Это сработало.
The dreamer has been released. The world is addicted to dreams. To them, it's just entertainment. They have no idea what her device is really for. They don't know that someone is stealing their dreams, using them to reshape reality.
Они даже не понимают, что кто ворует сны для того, чтобы воплотить их в реальность. Ну и как вы думаете, если я в коме, как я могу с вами говорить? Мое тело может быть и в госпитале, но мой ум нет. Мой ум где-то за пределами его. И пришла пора истории. Это место между моим домом. Это место, где история начинается и заканчивается, включая мою.
So Martin is going to play this. We're going to not focus on the sound of this because we haven't implemented most of the voiceovers yet, so this is going to be pretty silent, but we'll do a running commentary. So Zoe Castillo is in this place called Storytime, and she spent the better part of a year there since the end of the previous game. And this sequence also enables new players to learn who Zoe is and what she's all about. So Martin is just going to explore this little location a little bit. So she's sort of trapped between life and death here, between the comatose state and the hereafter in a way. So you're going to take a little bit of a look around, and you can get descriptions and stuff. You can get the insight from the character. You can spend time exploring, or you can start heading straight into the action of doing Zoe's job in story time. And what she's doing is she is helping trapped dreamers, trapped souls or spirits in the story time. So we're going to see a couple of those scenarios.
Так наша героиня будет заниматься тем, что будет помогать душам, которые попали в ловушку снов. Также нам рассказали, что для того, чтобы понять лучшую историю, нужно как можно больше заниматься расследованиями того, что происходит вокруг, изучать все рядом.
Standard nightmare. But the thing that's happening here is that people are getting stuck in these nightmare loops, these dream loops, and they can't get out. And it's Zoe's job to help them. Are you going to be able to do it, Martin?
Она может помогать людям, которые попали в зацикленный ночной кошмар.
So Zoe is sort of helping these people get unstuck from their dreams.
Зои помогает этим людям, которые застряли в своих страшных снах, помогает им проснуться. Мы сейчас будем пропускать диалоги, которые она ведет с персонажем, потому что нам нужно показать там геймплей.
And it's a really important establishment of the character before she's returned to the world of the waking.
And for players who played the previous game, they know that Zoe, she's a dreamer, and she knows her ways around dreams. So this will be sort of familiar.
Друзья, как правильно на русский, я даже не знаю, перевести слово dreamer. С одной стороны мечтатель, с другой стороны там человек, который, я не знаю, спит и видит сон. Даже не знаю в данном контексте, как перевести dreamer.
So we're gonna jump on to the next dream scenario, where you'll interact with somebody else who's stuck in a nightmare, and a very typical nightmare.
Dream scenario, то есть следующий сценарий сна.
And this guy basically has to be led back into the light. He refuses to leave this pocket of light. He's stuck there, and he's been stuck there for quite a while.
Этот парень, например, говорит, он застрял в своем сне.
And the story is that something is going on. Why are people getting stuck in these nightmares? Well, they're connected to this futuristic game console in a way called the Dream Machine. And this machine is ostensibly gives you lucid dreams, you know, the best entertainment ever. But what it also does is that poisons people's dreams in some way. And people are getting stuck here. So, you know, as the story progresses in story time, we learn more about this, that there is this dream sickness. So Martin is just going to lead this guy straight out of the darkness. There is a mechanic here in that he has to be sort of reassured as you're walking that, you know, to keep the light in him strong, but Martin will just make sure that his light is strong throughout.
Oh, I will.
He's not going to fail. He's just going to lead him to the light. And again, I mean, Dreamfall Chapters is an adventure game, but it's not it's not a hardcore puzzle game. There are puzzles in the game, and this is a lot easier than what comes later. But it's not point-and-click adventure game of the past. It's more of a narrative. We really want people to be able to have a challenge, but also to enjoy the narrative. That's really important to us.
Yeah, we can't really say that any of what we're doing now is a puzzle. It's more of an experience.
Нам говорят, это не просто point-click и puzzle-game, это скорее все-таки adventure игра.
And it's more about the storytelling again, and that's what we want to do. We want to have the narrative,
Здесь достаточно много диалогов,
yeah.
достаточно много
and so we're trying to tell the story as we're doing these things, and make sure that there's a connection between the actions you do in the world
игра,
and the story we're telling. So this guy passes into the light, so he reassures him. And we're again building the story of something is going on out there. She's going to pass it, and we're going to go into the last dream scenario, which is yet another typical nightmare, and my favorite one. I remember having this dream back in the day.
Ух ты!
Always with the tentacles. I read way too much Lovecraft when I was 8 years old. It was basically a child who's afraid of what's in the closet. And really, who can blame her?
Говорят, что этот ребенок боится то, что прячется в шкафу,
so we have to find a way to make this go away, and for this little girl to be able to face her fears. And in this one, the player also has to make a choice. So what do people here want to do? Do you want to reassure her or do you want to scare her? Do you want to use a scare tactic? Who wants to use a scare tactic?
Либо
Go on, give it applause so people who want a scare tactic.
Либо испугать ее, либо помочь ей.
Reassure? Who wants to reassure her? No, scare tactic wins. Yeah, we're gonna scare her.
Выбрали, люди выбрали напугать ее.
You know, this is a choice that also affects the way she relates to characters. In this case, it might not have huge ramifications, but some of these choices will have massive consequences for the story.
И все, что мы сделаем, это обязательно найдет отражение в будущем, в будущей истории игры.
Banish the darkness. And again, it's the beginning of the game. It's not super complicated. It's more about teaching people the mechanics and the tools they have in the game.
Да, и вот эти первые эпизоды, они прежде всего обучают людей механике игры и различным приспособлениям, которые вы можете использовать.
Usually a good tool to banish darkness with, Martin. Wouldn't you say? Martin struggles with joypad controls. Just have patience with him.
У них что-то там с геймпадом проблема.
I think it's your first time playing with the well, at least in a long time.
Second.
Второй раз, говорит, играю на геймпаде.
So we're gonna try to use this to use this flashlight to burn the horror away because everybody knows
this is pretty cool.
Cthulhu hates flashlights. So we're gonna burn this away and hopefully be able to.
Мы сейчас сожгем это все и можем помочь маленькой девочке подойти к шкафу.
With the tentacles vanishing and just now it's okay to step through the closet. It's a gateway to another world. No, it's fine. There's no Cthulhu.
I flashed it with a flashlight. It has to be okay.
So we basically find a way to reassure her, to show her that it's safe, and she can return back into the world of the waking and the living. So Martin will just shuffle the girl through the cabinet.
I'm trying.
So again, it's a relatively simple puzzle, a relatively simple solution. Again, it's about the narrative, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're not trying to create a massively complex and massively difficult game. It will be challenging.
Мы не хотим сделать какую-то сложную очень игру. Мы делаем достаточно простые задания для игроков. И мы прежде всего фокусируемся на истории.
You don't have to have played the previous games to enjoy this. We re-establish all the characters. There's a lot of variety in the scenes, in what you get to experience. And we think people are really going to enjoy the story.
Игра, прохождение основной сюжетной кампании займет 12 часов.
I hope it shows. So she passes through. GG. And as an introduction again, we're trying to make it seem like Zoe is really concerned about what's going on here. And in order to sort of find out what's going on, she has to talk to somebody. We're going to end the demo with that. She's going to head over to this character she's now called upon. A character called the Vagabond, who is sort of the lord of this realm, who controls story time. As we get close to him, we're going to finish up the demo. And fade that picture out.
Все, на этом демонстрация закончена. Оставляйте свои комментарии, если вы смотрите на YouTube, по поводу увиденного, что вы думаете.
That was our Dreamfall demo, so we can bring up the slides again. The game is coming out on Mac, also on
вот на этих платформах.
I'm sure there was going to be a question about that.
На Steambox выйдет на Mac и на Windows.
And it's going to come out on one unnamed next generation console. We haven't announced it yet, but it will be coming out on the
она выйдет еще также на одной из консолей следующего поколения, на Xbox One либо PS4, но они пока не могут анонсировать, на какой именно.
Now we're going to end it all with showing you something really cool.
Мы еще не закончим, мы покажем кое-что крутое. Мы покажем вам трейлер Dragon.
Horror adventure set on the western coast of Norway in the 1920s. It's sort of like Gone Home meets Amnesia. It's H.P. Lovecraft meets Dostoevsky. It's a game about story. It's a game about mood and atmosphere.